specific positions. But anyway, how do the Packers stack up against the Lions? Below is a PFF comparison of the Packers-Lions matchup. If you guys want to check this out yourself, just go to patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access or scan the QR code in the upper right. This is a part of the exclusive content that we send you guys, just putting a bunch of information together. And listen, you're not going to get these long, lengthy articles like you do on other websites. This is just going to be straight to the point. Hey, here's what you're looking at. Here's the comparison, that type of stuff. Just data-driven type approach. So below is the PFF comparison of the Packers-Lions matchups, all right? And here's what we did. We started off with 11 versus nickel, okay? 11 versus nickel. And I can scroll up and down. I want to keep this on the screen where you guys can see it well enough. So when we look at the 11 personnel here for the Green Bay Packers, let's start on the offensive line. From left to right, Rasheed Walker, 68, Banks, 65, Jenkins, 65, Morgan, 59, but kind of an incomplete grade with the injury, and then Zach Tom, just a solid 85.8 grade. Now, when you look at their defensive line across the front there for their nickel set, from left to right, you've got from the defense's perspective, so keep in mind this is right edge. From our perspective, we're going to say, the left side, all right? Davenport, 53, but an incomplete grade. Williams must be a rookie. I don't know who that is. Number 91, incomplete grade. McNeil, 79.6. Somebody help me in the chat. Is it McNeil starting the season hurt? If you guys would check that for me in the chat real quick and post down there. You guys keep an eye on it for me. I'm pretty sure McNeil got hurt late in the season last year with a knee injury. So, and then, of course, Aiden Hutchinson destroyed his leg last year, and he's going to be looking to try to come back. Now, will he be ready for week one? We'll see. Again, I'm kind of hesitant on just a slam dunk. Yeah, he's going to be perfectly fine this year because that dude's leg looked like linguine wrapped around that other dude's leg.
Confirmed it on McNeil, Clay. He ACL injury.
Yeah. So, and Brambo said he's hurt bad.
Yep.
I'm wondering what week, Tim, do you know what week that was by chance?
Week 15, December 15th against the Bills. So that would be what, week 15?
Mm-hmm.
If you had, I'm just spitballing, 15, 14, something along there.
That's pretty late, bro. Yeah, December 16th ACL is what ATAM's saying. So week 15's Bates just confirmed. Week 15. So you're looking at, golly, that would have been December. So you're looking 10 months, I think is what Gary came back on, if I remember correctly.
I'm just saying December 16th ACL.
Yeah. So if it was December 16th, 12 months would be December 16th. Then you go back 10 months, so it would be November. So you're probably looking at a mid-October return for him at the earliest, I would imagine, for a big fella like that. So that's going to play into that early season, you know what I mean? Early season competing there. So Aaron Rodgers with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, what's up, fellas? I see the vision. My post on X blew up with the comparison of the Sports Illustrated picture of the 2011 offense. Go Pack, go. Oh, that's right. You photoshopped in some guys, didn't you?
That was dope.
Yeah. We need to, don't let me forget, and we'll try to show that at the end of the show when we get through this information. It was really cool. He basically took and added Matthew Golden. You guys remember that Sports Illustrated picture of Aaron Rodgers sitting there with his receivers? Mm-hmm. So he photoshopped in Jordan Love and Matthew Golden. It looked pretty clean, too. I ain't going to lie, man. For me, that thing would look like a third grader did it. So pretty smooth by Aaron. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. I love it, man. And listen, that could be the case, That could be the case. One thing about comparing Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love in their early careers, Aaron's early portion of his career and where Jordan's at right now, there's no two ways about it. Aaron Rodgers had much better receivers those first 4 years as a starter. There's no doubt about that. So thank you for that super chat. So across the front there, again, guys, you're looking at their two best players on that defensive line, Jacob, starting the season banged up, man. And I don't know when Aiden Hutchinson will come back. It just depends on how that rehab went. We'll find out. I can't imagine he participated fully in the mini camp and everything, but we'll find out in training camp if he's good to go yet or not.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions team right now, I hate saying that they're a paper tiger or anything like that, but there are so many questions and a lot of questions that aren't going to get answered until week one. And a lot of theories will be put to test. But like you said, I mean, if McNeil's not there, Hutchinson's on the mend. That Williams guy, I believe, is a first-year guy. Davenport's not great. The secondary looks like they need to take a step up for sure. I know they're usually pretty comfortable with their linebackers. I think Anzalone is one of the more overrated guys as far as just being like consistently. You see his name flashing around, but I feel like he's always graded a little bit under where people think he is. I mean, losing both your coordinators, I think a lot of that can compound on over itself. And plus the fact that the Lions don't know how to be consistently a good team. This is all new to them. This is the newest. This is the best they've been in like 40 years. So honestly, for them just to be able to take that winning tradition and carry it through adversity from one season to the next, I'll believe it when I see it. Because honestly, everything that we've seen for, again, the last 40 years shows me that's a flash in the pan. They got a little lucky. We'll see if they can sustain it. My guess is that they're going to take a pretty big regression.
Yeah. Tim, Chase Green says here in the chat, I want to see 30 rushing attempts against the Lions week 1 and just run them over. We need a hot start. Do all the NFC wildcard teams in the mix. I mean, you look at Josh Jacobs is great here too, man. The third highest graded running back at a 92.3 going up against what could be, I mean, that could be a very banged up defensive line if they're not healthy week 1, man. I could see us running a rock on them. As you get to the linebacker position, Tim, you got Campbell with a 78.7 and then Anzalone at that 66.9. We know Anzalone is somewhat of a hybrid backer, probably play outside backer and kind of that rush backer from time to time in their base as well. But what do you think about that, man?
I'm loving it. And just at a glance, I'm looking forward to seeing Matt Golden light up Terry and Arnold. That's going to be fun. That'll be fun to watch. That'll be must-see TV. But Aiden Hutchinson is good to go. So the kid's 24. He'll be 25 this year. He was cleared a couple of weeks ago, I believe. So I don't know, what that means for how they're going to, insert him into the lineup right away or if they're going to handle him with kid gloves or whatever. But I think he's going to be playing, full go for camp, Ron Sandoval confirming. So we'll have to see. But then again, that's one man, right? They got some holes there up front. So I agree with the sentiment of pounding the rock. I mean, Josh Jacobs is that dude for a reason, and he's only going to continue to be that dude if we're, running this offense kind of vicariously through him. And, once you get that guy's wheels turning, man, it's going to open things up in that passing game. And like you said, man, they're kind of thin. Looks a little thin in the middle there, and then corner doesn't look super intimidating to me. So I'm looking for a 30 burger on them week 1, 30 or better. Let's go.
I'm trying to see if we could get the full diagnosis of that injury.
Fibula and tibia. He broke his whole deal.
So did it tear any ligaments at all?
I don't see. I'm looking at this article is from May 22nd is the most recent one I could find here. This is NFL.com.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too, a tibia and a fibula. So maybe there were no ligament damages, and if that's the case and it was clean breaks, there's nothing clean about the way it looked on the replay.
Oh goodness,
dude, I still
I can see it.
Hey man, I just ate dinner, man. Dang,
his hand decided to hide.
Bro, it was so bad. And here's the thing, I'm kind of blood, cuts, lacerations, gunshot, all that doesn't bother me at all. When I see a bone snap, it bothers me. Mandy's like, oh, watch it again. Like,
man.
Mandy's savage.
She is, dude, with that stuff. So
I love it.
Then again, if one of the dogs sneezes and there's some snot on the rug, she goes gagging through the house. How does this make sense? Like, what are we even doing here? So, H.E. Soder says Packers need to run the ball and stay out of 3rd and long. Boy, do that every week.
Yes.
Do that and protect the football, man.
Especially against a team like Detroit, right? We talked about those matchups last year. We kept putting ourselves behind the 8 ball, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. It's you're making it difficult on yourself to try and convert there. So I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. So, again, their linebacking position, kind of matched up with our offensive line. And then you look at, of course, Tucker Kraft, the 23rd highest graded tight end. Now, we talked about some advanced metrics, things like that suggested Tucker Kraft is top 10, possibly top 5 right now. So take the PFF grade for what you will there, 67.8. You like the way he matches up against the Lions, me personally. Then when you look at their DBs against our wide receivers here, again, this is what it's showing in the starting lineup. Dobbs at the X, with a 69.7 grade. Jaden Reed in the slot with a 71.7. And then you got Matthew Golden is showing no score, obviously being a rookie. You're going to be able to mix in some other players like Dontavion Wicks. Who knows what Savion Williams could potentially be this year as well. So when you look at their DBs and how they would match up, DJ Reed, Jacob, they picked him up in free agents. Go ahead. You're good, man. I've seen you cut your camera off. My bad. Reed, they signed he had a 70.7 PFF grade last year, 30th highest graded corner in the league. Obviously, pretty solid season from him. In the slot, they've got Robertson at a 64.7. And on the opposite side, look at Arnold. Terrion Arnold, rookie last year, 50.8. He was the 109th graded cornerback out of 115. And my man got grabbed last year. If they had this matchup correct, and listen, it can vary from week to week and what the coaches are seeing on the game tape and how they want to attack an offense and vice versa with the offense attacking the defense. If you had Matthew Golden matched up on Terrion Arnold, that'd be a fun matchup right there. And here's the other thing. You move Reed around and do some cheap motion outside and get him lined up outside and try to exploit Arnold when they're not in man coverage. That'd be a lot of fun as well. I like the way, Jacob, our passing game matches up against their DBs here. Now, keep in mind, they have, I think, one of, if not, the highest graded safety in the league with Kirby Joseph back there, 90.4. My boy, Brian Branch, I was so pissed off that I got roasted for saying we needed to draft Brian Branch because he's too small, he's too this, he's too that. 83.7. That's arguably the best safety tandem in the entire league, even as good as the Packers safety tandem is. But when you look at these DBs, cornerback matchup versus wide receivers, I like our chance, right? Now, the safety factor definitely tilts it a little bit back in their favor. What do you think about it, Jacob?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I would take any of our wide receivers, to be honest, almost up to like wide receiver 7 to be able to completely I wouldn't say completely, but definitely be able to burn these guys consistently. The safety room's a little bit of a different story. Kirby Joseph's a dog, and Brian Branch is another one of those guys. I believe, Clay, isn't he kind of in that same mold where people are like, he doesn't have the numbers, he doesn't have the measurables, kind of like a Kyle Hamilton. It was back-to-back years. He went from a Brian Branch to a Kyle Hamilton to guys just like, they're just good football players. It just is what it is. Sometimes they're just not going to hit the measurables that are the RAS, certain metrics that you want them to. The bottom line is that they're just really good football players. And unfortunately, Detroit did that's got to be the best safety room in the league, right? I mean, it's definitely the best safety room in the NFC North for sure. But, I think there is
definitely the dirtiest safety room.
Definitely. I was going to say they're not afraid to get a little definitely biting kneecaps there. Cornerback room, I think we got that easily. I think we even overtake the linebacker room. That safety room is pretty tough, though.
Yeah. And when you talk about Brian Branch, the other thing is he'll play the slot as well. He'll climb down there and play the nickel from time to time too. The big thing that stood out about Brian Branch coming out of college was he had let me try to think of how I can word it, the most successful tackle percentage in the PFF era. And I can't remember what year that started, but it goes pretty far back, damn near 20 years, I believe it was. It was well over 10 years. I remember that. When you get stuff like that shows up, like, wow, his missed tackle percentage is the best in the history of college football up to this point, according to PFF, you got to kind of take a flyer on that. You got to look at that and go, okay, that's something historic, So Brian Branch, definitely another X factor there. Kirby Joseph, though, I hate Kirby Joseph. I can't stand that dude as a player. But, boy, if he was playing for the Packers, I'd probably have his jersey. You know what I mean? It's just one of those deals. So when people say he plays dirty, he does. I played dirty in sports too, so I kind of appreciate that. When it happens to your team, you hate it. That's just the way I see it. So 2-0 for this says Tucker Kraft hates Kirby. I have a feeling he will go after him hard. I loved it last year when he tried to take his legs out, upended him, and look back like, did I get him? Like I hurt him. Tucker does the Shawn Michaels flip up to his feet. Kirby quickly turned his head around like he didn't see it and walked off. That's gonna be a fun rivalry for years to come as well. So. Anything else you guys want to hit here other than Jordan Love, 75.8, 20th highest graded quarterback in the league? Now, you guys know with QBR, he was 10th in the league in QBR. When you looked at some of the EPA stuff, he was much closer to 10 than he was 20. So I kind of put Jordan Love based off his performance last year, even though he was battling 3 injuries. I think he was somewhere around the 13 or 14 mark in the league. Me personally is where I would put him. So with a healthy Jordan Love, I think you're going to get a top 10 quarterback. I really believe that. But anything else you guys want to add to that conversation? We kind of hit on Josh Jacobs there too with the 92.3.
I just maybe wrapping up Detroit's back end there in the secondary. You mentioned, oh my gosh, can you scroll back up here? I'm drawing a blank.
Joseph
Branch. That dirty bastard. Yeah, Branch.
Branch is a little dirty too. You're right, man.
Yep. Stepping into the slot a little bit, right? And I kind of like that. I feel like you're going to entice them to want to bring him down there by running the football. And maybe if we can get them out of their nickel, we know Detroit will man up. They're not afraid of it. They're not afraid to go single high look either. And with that in mind, I think you got to challenge them. I'm like you, Clayton. I'm a big believer in like, oh, you get your best, we'll bring our best, and we're going to take it to each other. We're not going to let anybody live on reputation or last season's numbers or PFF grades. I say challenge that secondary. I feel like in the short to mid range passing game, we have a chance to get things going because, like we said, the corner play is not that intimidating. I think we have good receivers and tight ends, and they look a little soft up front here right now and in the middle. So maybe you can get them to creep up, and then when you get that opportunity, man, let that shot play fly. We know Jordan loves to let it fly. So I think we've got a really good chance to go out here week one and set the tone in 2025 and finally get the Detroit Lions off our back and just beat their asses week one. That's where
And it's so hard for defenses to have back-to-back great seasons. It happens every year, but there's just 2 or 3 that typically do. And the reason being is you got all this tape on that defense now, right? Well, on top of that, they lose Aaron Glenn, so they lose their leader on defense and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. And if I remember correctly, he took a coach or 2 with him as well. So that coaching staff is depleted. We're going to come away this year with one or two things that we're going to be thinking. Dan Campbell's the real deal, or Dan Campbell ain't anything. Because if he puts this back together and gets him back to 12, 13, 14 wins without the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, Dan Campbell was the magic. It wasn't those guys. But if they fall flat on their face and they come out and win 6 or 7 games, which nobody is talking about that being a possibility, if that happens, maybe Dan Campbell getting exposed here. So I'm excited to see how that shakes out as well. H.E. Soder says, too many times in 2024, the early game play calling sequence did not get Love into a rhythm, and then they press. See, I disagree with that comment. Not completely, because every game's a little different. What we seen on Chalk Talk all year long was Jordan not taking the check down. Like it was, and it wasn't even that he wasn't taking the check down. I get tired of saying this because I've said it. I feel like I've said it 1,000 times, but it's all over the tape. It's not that he didn't get to the check. He didn't get to the check down on time. Like you have got to get to that. You got to know, like if you come out and you read a split safety look, you're reading rotation. Let's just say it's strictly a passing play and you've already decided we're going to throw the ball here. You got to read the rotation early, and you got to know there's my number one. If it ain't there, get to the check down as quick as possible. What you seen Jordan doing was going 1, 3, back to 1. Now let's go to the check down, and the defense is already all over the check down. That's what I've seen on the tape.
We saw that when we were talking about Jaden Reed with the supposed drops, right?
Right.
Great example of getting to the read a little late, balls behind, everything's out of rhythm.
And again, here's the other thing too, to defend Soder here. We don't know how Matt's coaching Jordan up either. I know this. We didn't hear Matt say one time at the pressers, not that he would throw his quarterback under the bus, but we didn't hear him say one time, Jordan's got to do a better job of reading the defense and getting to the check down, right? He always said Jordan's just trying to make a play. So maybe in the background, he is saying to Jordan, hey, look, be aggressive. Let's drive this ball down the field. That could be happening too, right? But that's just my interpretation of the majority of the tape. Not always, but the majority of the tape. I think Matt, when you look at the separation, he can scheme some dudes open, man. You look at Tucker Kraft's average separation. It ain't because Tucker Kraft's shaking people out of their boots. He's running butt naked through the trailer park, and that's Matt LaFleur. That ain't Tucker Kraft there, Now, Tucker Kraft bulldozing people, snowplowing people, that's Tucker Kraft. So appreciate that comment there, though, Soder. Let's go on to 12 personnel real quick. And actually, did I go to 12 yet? We're still on nickel, right? Let me hop down to our offense just real quick, just to look at the matchup. When they go to their base 4-3, They're going to have Anzalone, Campbell, and then they bring in Barnes. Is that Chris Barnes or is that a different Barnes? That's got to be a different Barnes, right? Or did they sign
Chris Barnes was on the Eagles, right?
Let's see here. Let's
Didn't
go.
Barnes go to the Eagles?
He was there last year for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
He
Barnes.
was in San Francisco for a while too, wasn't he?
That's Derek Barnes.
Oh, that's Derek Barnes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's Derek Barnes there. So anyway, he's going to come in and play Sam backer. Now, it looked like he didn't have a significant amount of snaps last year, 71.8. And then, of course, you got Musgrave coming in, had an incomplete grade as well, but did have a grade of 47.1. So you this is a perfect example of when you look at that just strictly from the grades, you would like to say, let's stay in 11 personnel over 12. And this kind of goes back to the conversation we've had all offseason. We want to get more healthy Luke Musgrave out there and get a little more 12. All the explosives that we showed on Chalk Talk this year were all in 11 personnel. I don't think that's a coincidence. Doesn't mean you can't go out and ball out in 12, but that's another example of going into the season. You're trying to decide, all right, do we stick with what worked or do we try to change it up knowing the defense is going to key in on what worked and try to stop us? There is your quick 12 matchup there. Anything else you guys?
Real quick, the chat wanted to correct us here. Barnes did not go to the Eagles.
Oren
the Niners. Oren Burks went to the San Francisco and also.
Where did Chris Barnes end up then?
The Cardinals.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's what we just said. We just looked it up. It was Derek Barnes that's there. That's who's with the Lions. But yeah, Chris Barnes is still with Arizona, and he and Jordan Love do a camp together every year. They're still really good friends. Yep. He was on the team Jordan's rookie year, maybe his second year too. So, but yeah, it was Oren Burks was the one that put the hat on the football, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Leading with the crown of the helmet.
Somebody missed the block though, but we will not name names.
Exactly. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to add to our offense versus Detroit's defense? Any parting thoughts before we move on to our defense versus Detroit's offense?
30 burger week 1. Let's go.
I'll play the Eagles on the damn moon. That was my favorite Tim comment last year. Jacob, you got anything else on it?
No, but Bates is saying, I believe Chris may be a free agent at the moment. Just wink, wink, nod, nod.
Hey. In case you like to chew your backer twice, right? Porter Doug says Savion in the second tight end position. Hey,
hello.
I'll tell you, I'll say this, man. One thing that Matt LaFleur likes to do, and they did it a little bit last year, even with Christian Watson out, he likes to line up a wide receiver in that wing position, right? Which is essentially like in between. If you could see my cursor here, they would line up right here. Imagine this tight end right here in this spot, right? He likes to go 11 personnel, and he would put Christian Watson right there and help with the run blocking and stuff and work them out of the backfield type thing. They would also do like a play fake with a sift over, and he would leak out, that type of stuff. Coach Lynn saying Savion in the H position. That's essentially what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. All that's going to be determined in camp on how much of the playbook Savion can pick up and whether he looks like he can handle it his rookie year or not. If so, you're probably going to see some Savion in the backfield. You are. I'll tell you what I would like to see too. I think it'd be fun. Imagine coming out in 11 personnel. All right, let me go back up to 11 here. So imagine you come out in 11 personnel with the Packers offense. All right. And let's say that, instead of Dobbs, you've got Savion Williams, but you come out in an empty set. Imagine Josh Jacobs out here far left, and you're in an empty 11 personnel, right? And then all of a sudden you shift Reed and Savion Williams into the backfield. So what you do is if they're in man coverage, that's going to be identified. When you walk that T out, which is the running back, when you walk him out wide and a linebacker follows him over, we know it's man coverage. And then you shift those two receivers to the backfield. They've got to make a decision now. Yep. Their linebacker is now on the boundary. So that means they're going to be bringing a cornerback in to play in the box. And I would just love to see Savion Williams get a crack at Brian Branch head on. Because Savion, if it translates from college to the pros, that dude will run through a MFer's face. No two ways about it.
Might explain the shoulder issue, right? coming out of college.
Exactly. So it's all going to come down to can Savion Can he pick up that play